It's 12 minutes after 7. My name is Kobby, Spiky, and Nkrumah. It's a Tuesday, and we're here to talk tech. Yes, Geek Squad, the show that breaks down technology and brings it closer to you in your car, in your homes, wherever you are. If you're watching us live, we're on Facebook. It's Joy997 FM. And we're on YouTube, Joy997 FM. And you can tweet at us, #JoyGeekSquad. Today we're talking about everything that you interact with every single day digitally, sometimes analog, but you have never thought that it actually had to be worked on, had to be designed. Your smartphone, when you press your phone icon and then the numbers pop up, that whole experience had to be designed by someone, had to be thought through, it had to be created. They had to actually think about you, the user, to know what would make you comfortable. Imagine if you had to dial 0244 and then the 0 was in the top left corner, the 2 was in the top right corner, and the 4 was in the bottom left corner. Like, by the time you're done with that finger gymnastics, I'm sure your thumb go ball past Ghana's strongest. Anyways, basically what we're talking about is that user interface that you're using, the user experience, and what you don't know about it. Basically, it's now become a career. I mean, it's always been a career, but it's become very attractive. A couple of days ago, it was trending on Twitter. And I'll have a story to share about this later on in the show. But before we get to the conversation proper, we have to go for a quick commercial break. Don't tune away. I know you might not like commercials, but that's how we get paid, so we can talk about tech with you. We'll be back.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Sharp! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information.
MTN.
And we're back. Geek Squad is brought to you by MTN. MTN everywhere you go. If you want to get interactive with us, like I said, you can tweet at us, #JoyGeekSquad, or you can join the Telegram group, t.me/JoyGeekSquad, or leave a comment under the live stream on Facebook or YouTube. If you missed any of our previous shows, it's available on Spotify as a podcast, on Apple Podcast, pretty much everywhere on the internet. Just Google Joy Geek Squad, right? All our old episodes. We've been running for a while. So, and it doesn't expire, like tech doesn't expire. So if you missed knowledge from weeks ago, you can always go back, or years ago, you can always go back, go listen, learn a thing or two. So Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, YouTube, Facebook, man, we're ubiquitous. Anyways, so I have with me two gentlemen who are, their roles have two letters, like UI, UX. Shall it be swaggo? If your role has just two letters, it's swag. Because most people's roles, what are you? I am an engineer. You see? I just knew he would take his own sub. Yeah, so they are UI, UX. You guys you should be engineers, right?
We've not reached engineers.
You've not reached engineers. Right now, you are designers.
More or less.
Ish. Charlie, the guy's voice, did you design your voice too? Because it's deep. More or less. Okay, so listen, guys.
Yeah.
User interface, user experience. But wait, why is it user interface UI and then user experience, which we know experience starts with E, and then you guys say UX? You are over swag that's in. So I'm starting with you, Derek. What is UI and UX. What is it?
Yeah, thank you. So, UI, that's user experience, user interface, and then UX as user experience. So, user interface normally hinges on what you see on your interface. So, when you take your mobile phone, you see your icons, you see the buttons, you see a slider. All that is what we refer to as user interface. And then user experience is what, as in the name, the user experiences. So your journey, if you're going to store a contact, the flow you go through. So you enter the number.
Procedure.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And if you go through the journey and at the end of the day, you are fulfilled, you are satisfied, that means the user experienced satisfaction at the end of the flow. So all that goes into user experience, and then how it looks goes into user interface.
Okay.
Yep.
So the how it looks versus how it works. That's what we're talking about, right? Or how you experience it. I want to use a different word. Something that Winston and Michael, thanks for finally joining us.
Wow, we thought we would just sneak in.
No, I had to sell you out. I mean, it's obvious I didn't introduce the usual suspects. And
Because last week you didn't, so we're under the presumption that they wouldn't notice.
And we went through all the efforts of doing the entire show. No one noticed that we weren't here. Thank you, Spiky.
Well, yeah, I still did.
Spiky Iscariot.
So, yes, we've been joined by Winston and Michael.
Yeah.
And in case you didn't know, Winston and Michael,
We
talking...
actually listened.
Okay.
Don't. Yeah.
So, this is the thing. I mean, I'm going to jump the gun here because of what he's told me about UI and UX. And there are some apps specifically built in Ghana that the experience is just not. Does the kind of words that are used in an app to describe certain things count as a user experience or user interface, Derek?
Definitely, yeah.
Right. So if I'm trying to say open, and then on the app I use a word that is so remote from the word open, like that the regular person can't understand, that means that it's bad user experience.
It depends.
Let me just narrow it down. You see, I'm building at something. I use a banking app.
Yeah.
And that banking app decides to address people I want to transfer money to as beneficiaries. And I think that is so terrible a way to describe the people I'm sending the money to. Why should you call them beneficiaries?
It was an insurance app.
Yeah, like every time I'm sending money to, I feel like beneficiaries. Am I going to die? So that's bad user experience or user.
And one thing you'd learn from design, you would realize there's no yes or no answer, or there's nothing that's absolute. It always depends on the context, the users you are designing for. That's why it's UI, UX. So that it always depends on the user. And not only the user, you realize that it needs to look at the industry that you're working in. So the example you are giving, beneficiaries, it's a term that is for the banking industry. So the fact that I, a product designer, going to design for the banking, the fact that I think it's something that my users might not necessarily get, doesn't mean I have the right to change maybe 200 years of banking history. So you need to understand what the industry also.
And I'm glad you brought this. So you remember I mentioned that I had a story to share.
Yeah.
So we had some interns coming from Harvard, and they were coming to
Which of the Harvard?
The proper
Bungalow Harvard.
No,
Okay,
Harvard, not Harvard. So Harvard, in the laboratory Harvard. Anyway, so they were doing some research, and they decided to come and help us build an app. Now, this is why I found out that user experience and user interface design was actually very important, because they built various options and went to the markets, like went to town and did a survey of how people reacted to each thing they showed them, each interface. Shapes were different across, colors, presentation, all that were different. And surprisingly, the ones who wanted the app wanted, none of the people on the market wanted. So the fact that the bank likes beneficiaries because they've been saying beneficiaries and we the users don't like it, does that mean it should continue? Anyways, just keep that on your mind. I had to rant. Now, what's the difference between UI and UX? Because I tried to address something as a UI or UX, and I'm getting confused. What's the difference?
Yeah. So, like we started the discussion earlier. So if I mentioned UI, it's mainly what I see. It deals with visual. So you go to a website, you see the button, you see the colors that have been used, you see the various shapes that have been used. All that deals with user interface. So we'll talk about a design system where you'd see various colors, a system of colors, typography, and all that. A lot of other elements for design that talks about user interface. But then when we talk about experience, that's when we do a deeper dive into the user. So we do a user persona, try to understand who the particular user we are designing for is. You do information architecture, how the product you're trying to design, what it's going to look like in a skeleton form. So you go to the home, you go to this, you go to this in a skeleton form. Then we look at the user journey.
Is that the same as the wireframe?
No.
Okay.
So the wireframe is just like the user interface in skeleton form.
Okay.
Yeah. Then the experience, we talk about the journey. So we talk about how to delete a contact. Then you're like, okay, you press the contact, open it, click on delete. That's an entire journey that I go through. And at the end of the journey, the user has to experience something.
Right.
What does the user need to experience? Fulfillment. Then the user needs to be accomplished and all that. So that's the main difference. And there's a third one, that's product design.
Okay.
That mainly hinges on, at the end of building or designing the product, you talk about adoption, how the market adopts the product. You talk about how the users are able to, or how the product is going to grow, how the product is going to fare in the market, and all that.
So you mentioned the product design. So I want to bring a biscuit to the market. Does that fall under product design if I want you to design how the biscuit is going to look?
Yeah, there are various things that are, should I say, transferable, or they cross each other. At the end of the day, it's still research.
Right.
Whether it is for a product, or it's for a biscuit, or it's for a shoe or a shirt, at the end of the day, it's still research. It's just the context that differs. And so you still need to do some
research.
Yeah.
Okay. So the thing that we're talking about, which is young people switching to careers in UI and UX design, why all of a sudden? I mean, I can understand that now. Yeah, we have a lot of screens.
Yeah.
But back then, we had the orange screen on a radio, or the green screen on a Motorola old school phone, or the Samsung R220 with a blue screen. Those had UIs as well. Why was anybody concerned with designing those? And now that we have flashy colors and stuff, they are interested. Why? Why the interest?
Yeah, it's very nice to see like a lot of people showing a lot of interest in UX or product design. It makes the market like very competitive, which is good for quality of products. And there are a lot of reasons, but nowadays, I think 2022, a lot of people have shown interest in getting a career in tech for various reasons of their own. People believe it pays well, which yes, it does for a large number of companies. It opens you up to a lot more opportunities. For example, in product design, I've had a chance to design various products in various industries, and I've had a chance to speak to people who I'll probably have not gotten a chance to speak to, CEOs and all, just because I was going to design a product for them.
Right.
And various industries too that are very interesting, and I had a chance to engage with people there. So there are a lot of opportunities. Yeah, it's very interesting.
Michael Winston, would you guys like to go into product design?
Again?
Oh, you said, oh yeah.
Yeah.
For him, that is understandable. For you,
Yeah, I've been put my fingers and toes in there a few times. They've come out bloody most afterwards, but I've done it a few times.
Elaborate.
It's quite a thing. Like your story that you told of like designing when the Harvard people came, and it's like, yes, you the people who commissioned it,
Yeah.
the one wanted to be you wanted to use was exactly what's the opposite of what the consumers who are going to use it ended up using. And you see that laughter. He has been through that experience, and you've both been through that similar experience as well. Yeah, you've done the research. You said to that, look, this is what the consumer wants, but the clients who's commissioned the work are like, nah, won't take it.
One square, we don't like that.
Yeah, but sometimes you have to understand them because
you have to understand.
they are also bankrolling the thing.
Fair enough, but like the example Spiky gave with the banking app, you said you're not gonna come to shake several hundred years of banking development, but
others are doing it.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't work in a bank.
Yeah.
And I know that people who are even further removed from that, I go see beneficiaries and are like, yes, I want to benefit from my money. And you go and tap that thinking, yes, I'll put in more, receive more money. Next thing you're sending money. I was like, but why are the beneficiaries taking my money? Like, and meanwhile, someone sitting about like, this makes perfect sense. Yes, great. But in the same way, if as Spiky especially can relate to this, if we design an app that will diagnose your car and tell you what is wrong with it, you wouldn't know the first thing with what to take out that information. It will give you all sorts of codes, and you'll be there confused. And what am I supposed to do with this? Meanwhile, Spiky will read it and instantly know that which tire has gone down and what exactly to do to fix it.
Yeah.
Everything built for their target audience.
This is true.
To add a counter argument against the banking convention thingy is that, yes, it's a trade language, but if we, the beneficiaries of this trade, don't come to your bank because of lingo you are using, then you've lost. So the information you're trying to carry across is like it just falls into the water proverbially. You fall water inside. But to add, having UI UX experience, or I have. I remember on our way here when we started listening to the show, I remember that my final year dissertation, I decided to create an app. And it was a solo project, so I had to do everything myself, and I also had to think about the UI UX. It was a fun time because you have to think about, okay, I know what I'm doing, I know what to do because I thought this entire thing up. But if I just handed it over to a random person, would they be able to navigate this as well and as fluidly as I would want them to? So. And you also talked about the Harvard people going to give it to other people. It's actually something I also had to do. I had to do a bit of, not necessarily a market research. I've forgotten the technical term.
Well, you have a technical people here.
Yeah, so I'm asking, we have the experts. The word that we are not supposed to throw around anymore. But
well, they have actually said they're not experts yet.
Okay. So we have well-known people.
Yes, well-known.
So this is, I forgot, maybe Michael might even know. There's a group where you have a group of people in a room and then you showcase whatever product it is to them, and they have no affiliation to the company. Typically companies are the ones who are supposed to do this, and then they will tell you what they think and everything. I've forgotten what the group does.
Beta testers.
That's the developer term for it, but there's a socialist. I feel so
control.
It's not even a control group. There's something that they are called. That doesn't matter.
Just Google it.
I tried Googling it with the exact statement and I couldn't find it. But
it's an industry lingo.
But I think the reason why people are getting into UI UX is that I think in the beginning UI UX was mainly air quotes computer based, in the sense that people thought UI UX was, it's code related to a certain degree, but the people focus on that it's only computers and mobile phones that needed it, till we realized that thanks to capitalism, you need to create a very unique experience to retain customers, which means that you need professionals who can understand
that
this.
Begs the question, what were the Symbian developers thinking?
At the time, all you needed was when I press the number, I can see the number.
Like Symbian, anyone who's listening who's used Symbian OS, talking about the first generation Nokia smartphones, beyond the first screen, everything is cryptographic for those who are not techies. Like go into the settings and you can't understand stuff.
They don't want you there.
No.
That's
Yeah,
the point. They don't want
basically,
you there.
They don't want you
Yeah.
there.
Well,
Oh my
I
goodness.
wouldn't want to be there.
Even BlackBerry was
But easier to
terrible.
use.
I mean,
Beyond the face of the user experience, going into the settings,
My guy,
and everything is just
You see,
rubbish.
that's where you get it wrong. BlackBerry had one purpose: to get into BlackBerry Messenger. You didn't need to do anything else.
But
aside
what
that.
users want has changed over the years.
Yeah.
So as technology advances, user interest also, users are also like, oh, okay, there can be an improvement upon this. And then if you stick to this for so long, they're like, why aren't you doing
Yeah.
the next thing? That's why Apple is getting a lot of new users every day, because they're like, yeah, why can't you also do
Because they're
what?
stealing well.
Yeah. So users want the shiny stuff, and you need to create that shiny experience for them.
You know what's funny?
What
This
is funny?
conversation could literally turn into our experiences at trying to help companies with products and it's not going well. That's what this conversation could easily. When Michael was talking about his own, I just remembered some of the terrible experiences I also had. And so I just want to ask, how great has this experience been for you guys?
Why are you jumping again? That's all the way towards the end of the show.
Oh wow! Oh
yes,
sorry, my
because
bad.
we have Desmond here who is transitioning,
Oh, okay.
right? And so when we get to his side, we would.
He's transitioning into what? Like, be specific.
But the man,
So he knows I'm a designer. So
You say
UI UX transitioning.
Oh, keep
Yeah,
say transitioning.
Please, this is a tech show. See the shock on Michael's face.
I mean, I was thinking gearbox.
Anyways, so I'm sure a lot of people who are listening who are thinking, that's interesting. I'm a graphic designer, or I'm a painter, or I draw. What skills do I need to become a UI or UX designer?
Yeah, so this is one of the nice reasons why a lot of people are getting into product design, because it has a lot of transferable skills.
Right.
So you need to be very curious, because there's no straight roadmap. Like, not like, let's say if you want to become a doctor, do medicine, go to the hospital, do maybe a training for maybe 1-2 years and stuff. Every project to work on has a different context, and you have to study that context and become somewhat a master of that context to build
For that period.
exactly. So if you are right now, I work in crypto, so I have to study and then make sure I understand crypto before then e-commerce, study and make sure I understand e-commerce. So you need to be a very curious person. If you're always open to learn, fine, you can do like very well. You need to be very observant, because users' interests are always changing, and as you're studying them, you need to realize patterns also. As you go on in product design, you realize there's a lot more research than before, so you need to be quite maybe good with data, not an expert, but just understand how data works.
Know how
Just
to process data.
yeah, just
Right.
draw inferences and the rest. Then we come to the basics, maybe design, understanding basic design, shapes, colors, understand that, okay, you don't put white text on yellow background.
Right.
Yeah, it's something to keep you going. And yeah, as you go on, you keep on learning new things. Every day new skills are coming up, and
So,
so they-
you don't necessarily have to be a Photoshop guru or Illustrator guru
it helps.
or CorelDRAW.
It helps, but it's not.
Before you answer that, people still use CorelDRAW.
yeah, what do?
Okay.
People do, but for nostalgia, and then for people who have been in the industry for
Am I still
200
shit
years.
Wow. He just low key called CorelDRAW users dinosaurs.
If you are saying it, I agree with you.
No offense to all CorelDRAW users. We still love you on Geek Squad. Okay, so continue.
Yeah, so aside that, you need the actual design skills,
Right.
understanding basics of design, your principles.
Which is very important. I like that
Yeah.
example about white text on yellow background. Because I remember in web development class when people were slapping colors everywhere. And these were not shades of the primary colors. People would legit type CSS red and blue and yellow. And you know how sharp those colors are. It hurts the eye. Oh my goodness. So it's good to know that, yeah, you do need some basic design
Yeah.
skills and understanding what color works with what.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you know that you can't sell this, please don't go and venture before you create some kente for somebody else.
But the good thing is, you need to learn. You can learn. You can learn, like, even though it might look like a long roadmap. No, I don't want to say roadmap because
It's not
Yeah.
defined. It's
because
very
a lot of people have different
Yeah.
parts that you got to. Some of the senior designers I know didn't even start product design until maybe 2-3 years after university, and they still found their way into it. Yeah, so basics of that, then some principles of maybe solving problems, so design thinking, and maybe the double diamond. Just read on it. It's some people treat it. Let me not start to start an argument, but yeah. So just understand design thinking, get an understanding of it. Maybe if you are interested in double diamond too, you can just read on it.
which one is the double diamond?
It's another problem solving framework. So you can just Google it, read on it, not memorize it, but once you have an understanding of problem solving, because that's basically what we do in product design.
Right.
It's problem solving day to day. The users are dropping off on the login screen. How do you better the experience? You solve that problem. Ghanaian users are not using the app well. You solve that problem with design.
Right.
So once you understand a problem solving framework or the various ones you have available, it will help you. But as you grow in design, you get to build your own framework, and it helps you solve problems faster.
Great. If you want to join the conversation, you can send us a WhatsApp on 055 11 11 997 055 11 11 997 055 quadruple 1997. Yes, send us a WhatsApp message. Do you want to go into UI UX design? If you have any question about that, Desmond and Derek are here to answer your questions. Now, Derek,
Yep.
when you were talking about, all the skills that people could acquire, do they have to go to a certain school? Do you have to go to a school of design, or you go to the YouTube school of design, or a Coursera school of design? Like, which school do you go to? Or you have to, is there, you said no roadmap, but is there like a series of things that you can do to get you there,
Yeah, anytime I get this question, I get confused like as to how to answer, because I learned with Takashi. But yeah, they are very good resources. Nowadays, like a lot of design schools are popping up which have quite good content. But then YouTube is like always the number one online resource you could get. There are thousands of millions of design videos on YouTube that you could get your hands on. There are various playlists that I normally give out to people who ask. That's about 200 videos. But then one popular one that a lot of people go to, which I've also done, is the Google UX course.
Okay.
It doesn't take you through from beginner to expert, but by the time you are done with the course, it gives you a general understanding of what you are going to do as a product designer or as a UX designer. So the Google UX course is one that a lot of people have recommended, and it's good for someone who's going to get into the UX design space. You can also on Twitter, the Twitter design community is very large.
Yeah.
You can just tweet a question, tag 2 people. By the time you realize, people are flooding your comments with answers and stuff. So yeah, do the Google. If you have the chance, just do the Google UX. You can apply for a scholarship, or you could finish it quickly like I did, so that during the trial period, like I did.
7 days.
7
Yes.
days.
Yeah.
That's why he said Takashi. He wasn't playing. So the trial, you had the trial.
I
and
mean,
then
I was doing about 8 hours.
Wow.
Yes,
Man
so
was
when I say
working.
Takashi.
Yeah, that was a 9 to 5 straight.
So yeah, so if you can finish it during that time, like I highly recommend it. And Twitter, talk to people. Then yeah, YouTube.
Cool. Now, okay, so I've gotten the skills, but I'm an accountant, or I'm a bioengineer, and I want to transition into UI UX. How do I transition? Like, are my skills transferable? So if I was an accountant, are those skills transferable? If I'm a biomechanical or biomedical or something engineer, can I transfer those skills?
First of all, you need to ask yourself why you want to transition.
But like you said, there's
if
money.
it's for the money, if it's for the money, stay where you are. Because
See this man being greedy. He just said there's money.
yes, but
So
then,
why should I say you don't want me to have some
but then
pie?
the more
They're stressed too,
the
so-
stress that you would
But
go
there's stress
through.
everywhere.
Yes, but then you need
Special
to
kind.
be sure you actually want to do it. I'm not saying this to discourage it, but obviously in every occupation they have its or
Ups and
every
downs, yeah.
all of them have their ups and downs. But then for product design, UX design, you're always fighting for users and sometimes pushing back user goals because everybody's work hinges on your work.
Right.
Engineers are waiting for you. PM is waiting for you. Your CEO is waiting for you. Your direct line manager is waiting for you. Before you have to talk to users, you have to do research and all that. So you need to enjoy the work. Sometimes I wake up at 12 midnight and just open my laptop and start designing because I enjoy it. If it's not something you enjoy, you're going to struggle a lot.
Yeah.
So let's assume, okay, it's something you actually enjoy that you want to do, right? So, like I said, there are transferable skills everywhere. For an accounting person, you should be good with numbers. You should be very analytical. You should understand how trends, trends in data and all that. All those skills are transferable. You just need to add the basics of what you need to do in UI, UX, or product design to it, and then you can build it as you go on.
Right.
There's no points where you say, okay, I've learned enough for UX design. No, because people who, in quotes, learned enough 10 years ago need to learn new things today, or even last week. Things you learned last week could easily get old this week. So yeah, so find out one if it's something you really want to do. If it's something you really want to do, look at you can start by going through job descriptions of product designers. Go through about 10, 20 of them. List some things that you feel you already are okay with. See the things that you need to build upon. Do a quick Google search on those things and start learning from there.
Right.
You know what? He has scared some people. Let me give them something. He said you need to enjoy the work, right? Well, we all enjoy money. That's good enough.
You're passionate about being
Yeah,
paid
we are
well.
very passionate about getting a good payday. So,
That should be
near your
inspired.
eye and use
But you know-
Takashi.
Like he did.
Yeah.
But you know one thing that's cut across almost everyone we ask, what you need to do is passion for whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
I think passion just makes things more bearable.
Because
That's
everything
very
will be
true.
unbearable if you're not passionate about it, if you're not
yes,
interested
yeah,
in it.
so it's like you're waking the
It's like when you were a kid and then they told you go and learn. You're not passionate about learning. You're
yeah,
passionate
I'm
about
like,
playing.
bro, Cartoon Network is on, bro.
You know?
If
Like,
you're not passionate about how sustainable is that going to be for you?
That is the question.
the money in my bank account.
No, it's not sustainable.
No,
It gets to a
see, it
point,
gets to-
money stops
yeah.
being a motivator.
It does get to a point, and that's when you start getting certain if people fall into depression and stuff like that.
So why are you using money to be?
But at the end of the day, hunger. Or never mind. Let's move on.
So
So-
I'm going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, Desmond, he's transitioning into a UI UX designer. He's going to tell us more about his journey. And yeah, Winston, don't listen to Winston's advice and follow money. You get depression. We'll be right back.
If home is where the heart is, then let's go home, shall we? Let's go where the entertainment is, where the passion is, where the laughter is, and sometimes even the tears too. Let's go where we feel safe enough to share our opinions,
And send tweets.
where we do that embarrassing little dance to our favorite song. Let's go home where the love, the care, and the joy live.
There's no place like home. Connect your home to super fast internet with affordable data bundles from MTN Home. Visit broadband.mtn.com.gh or your My MTN app to sign up today. MTN.
And we're back. All MTN SIM cards in Ghana must be registered again with only the Ghana card by the 31st of July 2022. Kindly dial *400# to check if your registration has successfully been done. All successful registrations would have B-cap yes. If this hasn't been done, dial *404# and follow the prompts. Failure to register your SIM card means that you will not be able to make voice calls, use mobile money services, internet, and all other services linked to your SIM card. Please note that a registration is free and you will not be required to make any payments. Plus, we, MTN, will give you 1 gigabyte of data free of charge or 1 hour talk time valid for 7 days. Now, I think I should have waited and done my registration later so that I would get free 1 gigabyte of data. So if you haven't done it, go ahead and do it and get that free 1 gigabyte of data and 1 hour talk time. Talks for 1 hour. Isn't that awesome? And we're back. We're talking about UI UX design. So if you just touched your phone, swiped left or swiped right, or pinched, or 3-finger gestures, all that's user experience. That all those icons on your screen was designed by someone. That whole thing was thought through by people, and I have some of them here. And Desmond, I'm coming to you. What did you do prior to becoming a UI UX designer?
So I've always been like a graphic designer. So
okay.
It's a bit closer to.
So it's closer to home
in a way.
Mm.
So I would say the transition has been quite smooth when it comes to like the design parts. I just need to like get a few things down when it comes to maybe the UI patterns, research, and the others. But in terms of like the visuals, things that users interact with and see, I think that I picked up really quickly because I come from like a graphic design background. Yeah.
So when did it occur to you that, hey, me too, I can design some of these things?
So I actually heard of the term UI UX somewhere 2020, but I wasn't really into it, and I'm someone who is more of like the traditional graphic design. So I just already I did petroleum geoscience in university.
So you've transitioned twice.
So I didn't want to just rush it. Someone who did petroleum who has landed like their first job in graphic design, what do you need UI UX for? So I just relaxed, and I think somewhere 2021, a colleague of mine who was actually also learning UI UX, she was doing like a research work, and at that time I was like her target user. So she came to me and she was interviewing me, and then I got really interested. So as Derek said, you can do the Google UX course if you are really interested. So I also heard of the Google UX course, and then I applied. I actually used financial aid, so I didn't have to do the Takashi work. So I used the financial aid, and it was quite, let me not say boring, but the reading was too much. And as a visual person, I really don't like to read a lot of things. So I was able to do like 2 of them. It's 7 courses straight, so I was able to do 2 of them. I took a very long break, and then I think early this year I heard of another platform called UXL. So with UXL, they kind of like gamify the whole UI UX, and
so UXL had a better UX.
Yeah, I was saying. I mean, for Google's course, they are not actually hosting it on their platform. They are hosting it on Coursera.
So, yeah.
I mean, it's not really their fault.
Yeah, we know
has
Google.
a few issues. Yeah, so I really enjoyed like UXL's way of
you should
teaching, and
you should give you fans. Well, you're part of the UXL one.
Yeah,
I worked with them for a while.
Oh, Charlie. Big shout out, senior man. Ooh.
So yeah, I really enjoyed the UXL way, and they also like have like this leaderboard and all that. So it really kept me on my toes. Like, hey man,
yeah.
So yeah, I learned like every blessed day. Somewhere June, that's why like I was really consistent. So from June to like the ending of June to July, I picked up like quite a few things.
Oh, this year.
Yeah, just
so
this year.
In total, what has been the duration?
I would say almost a year, like if I include the Google UX thing. But I mean, with that, I didn't really, because I mean, when you are starting, you don't really do hands-on stuff. It's more about the research, the concepts, understanding what it's about and all that. But when I started doing the UXL, that's where I got up to speed with the concept. So I then started doing more hands-on stuff, which is like this year, like the past months. So I'd say it's been almost a year, but if you're talking about like being really consistent, it's been just a month.
Okay.
That I've really used to transition into this whole field.
Right. So, Winston, I think that the time you're looking for was focus group discussion.
Yes, that is it.
So say thank you to Renee. Renee found that for you.
Thank you. Renee.
Thank you, Renee. Yeah, Winston was having a brain, I don't know what I should call it, brain freeze. So softwares don't do the work. It's brains that do the work. That's from, please add your names when you send a message so we can identify. And so yeah, the softwares don't do the work. It's not, that's in relation to the Coral Draw. Yeah.
But he has given me a question I was actually going to ask them. But I'm guessing you'd want me to ask it towards the end of the show.
Which is almost due.
Okay, so
hold it.
Okay.
Patrick says, does Free Code Camp teach the UX design also?
Not on the website, but they have a UX course on YouTube, which is about 10 hours long.
Right.
It's a good watch.
Okay. Nanakwe C says, be in your lane, Mrs. Spiky, but what did I do? I'm not switching lanes. I'm sitting
that means
here.
there are a lot of Coral Draw people out there.
So, now from Spintex. Hey, now from Spintex. It's been a while. Yeah. She's not been able to tune in sometime. Just wants to holler and say hi. So it's no longer now from Spintex since she's now in Kanishi. So she says she's rebranding as Yana of Kanishi.
Nice.
So she's now and also so Yana of so the Yana of Kanish we hail. Or isn't that what it is? So yes. Thank you guys. Derek.
Yep.
You know, this is Ghana, right? And before anybody jumps into a certain career, they want to know, so how much can I make as a UI UX designer average every month? Currently, somebody's salary is like some 1,000. And you know, so, and the person's a very good designer. They're thinking, if I want to transition, will I get more than 1,000? Don't breathe.
Yes and no. It
Talk.
depends. It depends. Right?
Well, what does it depend on? So that we know which.
So a lot of time in tech, you are paid based on your value, based on how the company values you, and based on how rare your skill sets are. Right.
Okay.
So I can't say there's this fixed amount that companies pay. A product designer can be taking $10,000 in a company, and can be taking 1,000 CDs in another company.
Which is understandable. I mean, if you're working for my company, I can't afford to pay you $10,000.
But then, maybe.
But averagely in Ghana. Yes. I mean, no. You see, I want to juxtapose it to the international market. So
in Ghana, I could look averagely. I could say around 4,000.
4,000.
4,000, 5,000.
Yeah. So if somebody's earning 1,000,
but they are very large extremes.
Okay, that's why he says average.
Yeah.
But that means that
it can go all the way as high as
10K.
Yes, but that's still not good enough in the international.
Of course. So it can go as high as now let's go to the international market.
You can make as much as 300K US
a year.
Yep.
So breaking that down, that's like 50,000 a month. You know, if I do like this, and I do like that.
So, but then it depends if you're a senior or you're a staff product designer.
Bro, we're going in full senior, Takashi. That's a new term, you know. Hashtag Takashi.
So yeah, you could make 200, 300, 120 for maybe senior or normal level.
How much are you making?
Hey, bro.
I can show you, but
you can't say it. Okay. So, chow or no chow.
Or it be cool.
It depends.
The Ghanaian answer is it be
cool. You know.
It be cool.
So you range.
The range be cool.
Range. If you buy Range Rover,
I'd have to check the price of Range Rover.
If he's
if the man has to check the price of a Range Rover, it means that it's within range.
It's within range.
So, Kobby, Spiky, Nkrumah, great discussion today. Can you bring him back next week? Douglas, the man, do you know the man's schedule? They're asking me to bring him back next week.
So can I ask my question?
Yes, you can ask your question.
Okay, so I have two questions. Oh wow, we almost. First question, quick. How often are you guys told to consider people with visual impairments in your design? because when you're doing data,
Not only visual impairments. Accessibility.
Yeah, but because I used visual impairments because in data visualization, which you need visual, that you are not allowed to use. They tell you don't use red and green because there are people with color blindness, so they won't see. So stuff like that. Second question: how do you guys feel about DALI? Do you guys feel like DALI is coming for your jobs? Coming for our jobs.
So the first one, accessibility. You shouldn't be told about accessibility. It's supposed to be a given. Like once you're designing, it's supposed to be at the back of your mind that. Okay, you don't need someone to tell you I'm a blind user before. Yeah, so accessibility has to be a given. And then DALI is, at the end of the day, you still need somebody to create an experience specific to that context. So right now, if you tell DALI to give you a horse that is riding on a moon in Ghana, it gives you an abstract that you can see that, okay, this is a horse riding on a moon in Ghana, but it doesn't give you specifics. But in product design, you need those little nuances that your users can say, okay, this has been created for me. This has been created for my demographic and all that. So yeah, DALI is quite good for abstract art, NFTs and all that. But you can't. It should stay in its lane.
This one, have you started making money? With your UI
very
UX?
soon.
Very soon you will.
Yeah, I was actually in talks with one company.
Okay.
And a couple of companies to have reached out because I started posting some of my works out.
Cool.
It's transfer season in product design, so a lot of designers are moving. Yeah.
Now with that, before our time runs out, it's transfer season. So as a product designer, how do I stand out? How do I get seen by these brands who are looking to buy me?
Solve everyday problems. Solve everyday problems. So recently I did a design to solve a problem a lot of designers had. It didn't go viral. I won't say it went viral. It had like 700.
What problem was that?
So designers want to record their designs or their prototypes inside Figma until
which is the software you use.
So I designed a prototype and all that, put it on Twitter. Due to that, I have like 3 gigs waiting for like next 3 months. So
wow.
So if you want to stand out, just solve problems people have, and then the people who want solutions to those similar problems will reach out to you because they've seen you solve something like that.
Right, I have so many questions, but unfortunately, every single time I'm on, time is running fast. All the techies who listen to me, try and find a gadget that slows down time and prevents the news from coming on when we are on. And with that, I'd like to bring the show to a close. My name is Kobby, Spiky, Nkrumah. I've had Derek and Desmond, who are UI UX designers, product designers, aspiring. But yeah, he's gotten gigs, so yes, he is. And the usual suspects. Michael and Winston. I was going to say Minston. My name is Kobby Spiky. Yes, you can catch us next week